Morning, my name is Tony Castrilli. I'm the Director of Public Affairs for Fairfax County. I just want to go over the game plan for this morning's news conference. When you walked in, members of the media were handed two documents. The first is a 14-page document, which is the report in response to Battalion Chief Kathleen Stanley's allegations. The second is a 4-page memo that the County Executive, Bryan sent to the Board of Supervisors that outlines some of the work that the 10 work groups have completed, and it also outlines strategies for the future as the fire department moves forward. We're going to have one speaker today, County Executive Bryan Hill. That's B-R-Y-A-N, Hill. He'll have a few opening statements, and then along with Deputy County Executive Dave Rohr, they'll take any questions you may have. Regarding the information that you were provided today, that is posted online at fairfaxcounty.gov/publicaffairs/FRD report. I know that's a lot. So if you have any questions after this news conference, please contact me directly and I'll be happy to help you. With that, County Executive Hill.
First off, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Obviously, 72 days in, didn't expect to be sitting or standing. Standing, right? We're standing. Yeah, standing here in front of you all today. But look, we have three things we need to get accomplished today. One, I want to provide the public and the media the report regarding Battalion Chief Kathleen Stanley's complaints and allegations. You have a copy of that. Deputy County Executive Dave Rohr went through that report and has addressed every allegation. Our goal is to be as open and transparent as possible. Period. That's my goal. We are in Fairfax County. This is a great place to live. This is a great place to work. Any allegation will be investigated. Point blank. Again, 72 days in, I have had to deal with the internal auditor on allegations. We sent everything there. We've dealt with OREP. We'll deal with the county attorney's office. And we have also internally stated to each and every person in Fairfax County, if you have an allegation, if you have something that you want to say, guess what? We are open. We are here to listen, and we're here to move forward. That being said, on February 22nd, I began the process for the Executive Review Committee team. In pretty much 10 days, we met with 8 groups, listened to each and every one of their concerns, comments, open forum. We also met with the women's group twice, one without the leadership and one with the leadership. And I will tell you all, it was candid, it was frank, and we got a lot of things accomplished. Going forward, what I'm trying to do here in Fairfax County is ensure this is a culture that we change. We are in the process of hiring a fire and rescue chief. Let me just say that one more time. A fire and rescue chief, not a fire chief. I need a fire and rescue chief going forward. And I hope each and every one of you will get on board with us as we move forward. You have 2 documents. I was tasked by the board to deal with the Executive Review Committee. We've dealt with them, and we're going to strategize going forward on how we continue that leadership and that communication. Communication and leadership is where we are. That is the crux of any problem that we have in America as well as in Fairfax County. As your communicator, as your leader, I am trying to embrace the fact that we need to communicate and lead better for our fire and rescue team. Again, fire and rescue team, as well as our police, as well as all of the county employees. As we move forward, I ask that you all work with us to move our county forward. We are in a great county. You are great employees. We have cultural issues. We have cultural concerns. Well, guess what? We deal with those. We're a fire department, a fire and rescue department that is a 24-hour operation. Things obviously happen in a household that's 24 hours, so they're going to happen in a fire department that's 24 hours. Okay? Fire and rescue, we are moving forward. At this juncture, I'll take any questions from the media, from my team, but before we move to the team, I want the review committee to stand. I'm like looking, there you are. Okay, jeez. The executive review committee, could you please stand? The women's group stand. The fire department stand. We're all on the same team, right? Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the media? Hi, how are you?
I'd like to know, in these conversations you had, what was the most troubling thing you heard? What most urgently needs addressed?
Leadership and communication. I believe there was a tenor and a tenant that upper management was not talking to the troops. And that is something that we're going to address going forward. Obviously, Dave Rohr and myself have met with a lot of people in the last 72 days. We're going to continue to do that. We have to be more outward and more outgoing. And we also have to put a leadership spin onto our fire and rescue chief that we will be hiring. This is a part of your job. Your job is to communicate to all, not just ACs, not just the DCs, not the battalion, everybody. Leadership and communication has been the biggest problem I have seen, and I've been dealing with since I have assumed the role here in Fairfax County.
Sir, if leadership was a problem, did you at all or anyone from the county suggest or urge or in any way try to get the chief to step down? I know he says he resigned on his own.
Okay, well then you have your answer. He resigned on his own. Thank you.
But did you suggest that he resign at all?
I have not spoken to the chief about his plans. When he suggested to me that he was thinking about it, I told him to do what is best for him. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I would like to ask about...
And you are?
I'm Peggy Fox with Channel 9.
Nice to meet you. All right.
I'd like to ask about some of the complaints about retaliation when women have complained about certain things. Some of them have alleged that they've been retaliated against by not being promoted or by being moved from station to station or not, which allows them to not be promoted. Is that something that you're looking at?
Well, every allegation and every complaint has been addressed. Going forward, absolutely I'll be looking at any allegation coming forward. Today is March 13th, I believe. Is that right? Yeah? Okay. You know, everything runs together with me now, guys, so I apologize. But today's March 13th, and I asked everybody in this room from March 13th on, let's continue making Fairfax County Fire and Rescue the best fire and rescue team in the United States. Next question. All right.
How's this being focused on the training academy? What do they teach? What do the instructors teach about workplace behavior, sexual harassment?
Well, we not only have sections on that, but we also have sections within the county that do workplace harassment, sexual harassment. So we are all committed to taking those. And guess what? As a county executive, I have to do the same. I cannot be the leader of Fairfax County government employees without doing the same. So we look at every possible chance to take training courses. I do as well.
Any changes coming?
Any changes coming to those courses? Well, you know, it's interesting. I can't say that there will be changes coming because I've been here 70 some odd days. If I see that the changes are necessary, of course. But until that juncture, at this juncture, I will say that we're going to continue doing the same training courses we have been doing. Some of these allegations, I have to say, are 5 and 10, maybe even 15 years old. I'm trying to start from March 13th on. I heard it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Justin Juvenile from the Washington Post. Can you talk, give us sort of a top-line summary of the letter? Do you think the allegations are legitimate, or is she pointing out stuff that's been addressed in the past? What's your take on this and stuff that's already been you've already been committed to changing via the process that was started previously after the Nicole Mittendorf suicide?
Okay, every allegation has been taken seriously. Legitimate, if somebody puts something in writing, it's a legitimate case, period, until we not until we but until we deal with the allegation. Again, Dave Rohr has done a job top down, looked at every single allegation. It's been the OREP, it's been to it's been to Human Resources, it's been through the legal process. Every allegation is an allegation. We have to take it seriously.
There's similarities in several of the lawsuits. In one lawsuit recently, the appeals court is now moving forward. Is there anything you've learned from some of the complaints there and learned from this whole process?
Oh, absolutely. So with regards to the lawsuits, there's been 6 in the last 10 years. The one that you're discussing is still pending, so I'm not going to speak about that. There has been 4 that have been adjudicated, and Fairfax County was not looked at as we were in a place where we had to state that. How do I want to say this? The claims were removed. We were not filed suit against. One we did. There was one claim where we had to pay back some money. So out of 10 years, we had 6 cases. 1 is pending, 4 have been settled, and 1 is pending. Well, 1's pending, 1 has been settled, and 4 have been removed from court. Do I see similarities? I haven't looked at all of the lawsuits, but I'll tell you this. The similarity I do see is that I see a lot of young people in this fire and rescue department that want to make it the best, that continue to want to make it the best. And that's what I'm going to do as I stand here today, is to help them get there. Hey, Bob.
Bryan, what do you say to those who go online and harass? What can you do about that?
Well, if it's doing it during my time or our time, we can do something about it. But if they go online outside of their time, there's not much we can do other than tell them not to do it. We've had times where we've had to talk to people about how they should act as a Fairfax County employee. You know, when you're on your personal time, there's not a lot I can do. But I'm hoping that you can upstand and be a great Fairfax County employee. Yes, sir.
Just following up on that question and your answer. There's a lot of jobs where what you do when you're off the clock goes into your credibility and goes into your representing the company that you work for. So shouldn't a person who is off the clock be held responsible for the behavior that they show if it's offensive to others?
Absolutely, and we do investigate all. But again, when you're off the clock, you're off the clock. If it's something that hampers or hinders Fairfax County, yes, we can do exactly what you've stated, and that is discipline if necessary.
But help me understand that. When you said that if it harms Fairfax County, some would say that if somebody does that and it speaks poorly of Fairfax.
Yes, it does.
And so can that person be fired? Can that person be held responsible?
We have done that, and I said again, you have to find them, because some of these things that happen offline are not Bryan Hill. It could be Bryan with an I Hill. Okay, I mean, when we find them, we go after them.
So you're saying, and I'm sorry for.
No, it's no fine, no problem.
Just so that the point is that if you are able to find who does something inappropriate while they're off the clock, they will still be held
accountable. They'll be held accountable. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Yes. Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Bryan,
Hey, man.
Can you, in here it was saying something, there's kind of a rift between the fire and rescue elements of there. Can you describe what's going on there? Is the one line of work perceived to be more dangerous and therefore more high status and valuable, or why do the rescue people feel less appreciated?
Well, I don't think I used the terminology riff. I did use the terminology that I believe we need to look at our organization and maybe change or tweak our organizational structure. Fire and rescue do 70 90+% of the calls. Their promotional process is a little different than firefighters. So paramedics are a little different than firefighters. So those are the things that I'm going to be looking for in a new fire and rescue chief to help bring to Fairfax County. Hey, Bob.
David, a couple questions.
You can ask him anything you want.
Is there kind of this historical difference between, I know it happens in the district, fire and EMS, they kind of see themselves as kind of almost two different things, and does that maybe lead to some of the cultural issues that you're dealing with?
Yeah, I don't want to overstate it either. We're looking forward to continued dialogue with the men and women who serve our county. But certainly we have heard in all of our discussions and from, most importantly, the work groups that have come forward. And also in the last year or so, Chief Bowers and his team have made some recommendations for change. Certainly, we want to make sure that all who serve, and I'll just not sounding trite at all, but all who serve, whether they're in, working on a fire ground or working as paramedics and EMTs, that all have equitable opportunities and that all are respected, for what they do. And certainly there has been, and not only in Fairfax County. I appreciate you saying that because it's not only about Fairfax County on some of these issues. Other departments are struggling with some of this. But we want to make sure that they're treated with respect, they're treated fairly, that they have opportunities. So we're going to be going forward, as Mr. Hill said, looking for the best way, whether it's making change, incremental change, exponential change, tweaking, whatever words we decide to use. It's about input, though, from the men and women who serve. We want to hear their voices. We want them to have input, and as well as Mr. Hill has said, we want the next fire chief, fire and rescue chief, to use his terms, to make sure we get guidance and support from them as well. But we need buy-in across the board. So certainly that we have a concern. We do have a concern that the cultural differences exist. We've heard enough of that. We need to identify it and figure out the root problems are so we can address those.
David, how troubling was it for you that a battalion chief who was put in a position to like in this women's group ended up leaving because she said this stuff was still happening?
Well, I respect her. I respect, again, everybody who serves. I respect all people. So, again, I don't want to overstate this either, but everybody's had a different experience in their careers. For me, many of you know, I started in the police department. So the women and other minorities that I'll call the trailblazers in the 70s and the 80s, and I'm just talking in general terms, have had different experiences perhaps than the ones who have came on later in the 90s and the 2000s and beyond. Not saying every single person's been treated the same. So I respect, again, those trailblazers and the experiences. I've not walked in their shoes. So the experiences that they've had, I have to respect those. So I listen to all those concerns and take them seriously. My main goal in my report was to make sure, as Mr. Hill said, we take every allegation seriously. If we can prove something, whether it's on duty or off duty, we're going to deal with that. But I have to have evidence, I have to have witnesses, I have to have documentation. I can't just say, someone has done something and then try and take, any kind of disciplinary action against them. But hearing the concerns tells me that whether it's a cultural issue, whether there's perceptions, we have to deal with those too. So I want everybody to, I want women, I want minorities, I want all men and women. I've said this many times, I want them to feel safe. I want them to come into a place, I'm not saying they don't, but I want to ensure that they feel safe, they feel nurtured, they feel respected, they feel treated fairly, and that they have a chance, just like I had in all my years, to feel that they're getting rewarded for what they do, and that they feel comfortable in what they do, and that we take care of them, mentor them, support them, and give them, again, equitable opportunities for success.
He had his hand up first.
Tim Barber with ABC 7. I'm not sure who to best answer this.
Well, we'll figure it out between the two of us.
I know it's pretty early on, but can you just tell us how the search for the new chief is going? Do you have any names or anything like that? I know it's pretty early.
It's never too early. We woke up this morning, so here's what we're going to do. We have a consultant signed, sealed, and delivered. That consultant is going to get focus groups together to move forward, i.e. women's initiatives groups, the executive review committee groups, union groups, whomever wants to talk about the type of fire and rescue chief we want in Fairfax County. Once that's done, we'll get a profile set. We will then start reaching out to potential candidates throughout the country. Once that is happening, we will have 5 people on the search committee. Mr. Rohr and myself will pick them. We'll move forward with a national search. When we get down to 2 or 3 candidates, we'll bring them to the Board of Supervisors for them to have an interview with them. And once we go there, we'll compare notes to see who he or she will be, or her or him will be the next fire and rescue chief for Fairfax County.
What's your timeline?
I believe I'm going to close this out no later than June. Now, June has 30 days, right? Yeah, okay, June. Yes, ma'am.
Three-part question.
Three parts. Gosh, can we do one part at a time?
This report mentions some specific disciplinary actions that have been taken previously. But
That's your
has
report.
this review resulted in any new disciplinary action, any new investigations being opened, and finally, any policy changes?
Well, to the latter, I don't have any policy change recommendations yet. We did put some to the work groups to look at. I mentioned one in my report, or two actually initiatives, for example, on grievances, to make sure that everybody understands that process, to make sure we don't have two different processes perhaps. It happens sometimes inadvertently as departments, including other agencies, try and mirror whatever the current county language is in their policies. Then changes are made in county policy and not picked up in the department policy. So we're trying whenever we can to incorporate by reference. Everybody knows just to go to one site, go to the county site. But as to specific policy changes, not yet. As to discipline, no, I am not going to go back. I did not go back to change any discipline. In some cases, I really can't do. It's not fair. People have due process. So in some cases, whether they were substantiated, not substantiated, founded, not founded, depending on who does the investigation, there was no reason for me to go back and change any discipline. Discipline can be a wide range. Discipline can be in any of these cases or other cases, anywhere from oral counseling or verbal, to written reprimands, to suspensions, up through dismissals. So a wide range of discipline can happen in any case. We're not discussing any specifics for these. And there's a third part, and I apologize.
The third part was whether these frank discussions you were having with these groups have resulted in any new investigation.
Well, I think I know I referenced in my report there were several new complaints or allegations that did arise. I forwarded those to the appropriate authority. For us, I used, in this case, the internal auditor's office to look at those. I believe, and I don't want to misspeak, there were 4 or 5 allegations that I forwarded to the internal auditor to look at. So it's an independent agency making that look. It's not Mr. Hill or myself or anybody in Fire and Rescue Department. It's looked at in those cases by the internal auditor. I put the results in the report of those allegations. And certainly in prior cases, it was OREP, the Office for Human Rights and Equity Programs, had looked at those already. So they had all been looked at. All the ones I referenced had been previously investigated and documented. These were not new that I gave to them. They were already been done. I went back and spoke with the director and looked at those cases to make sure they've been completed properly.
Okay. And to follow up, the groups have not brought back any specific allegations other than the fact that we need to move forward. Every group that I've met with is looking to move forward and away from this past into our new future. And that's what we're here today to tell you. We're going into the future. We're going to continue making Fairfax County #1. You had this question, sir.
I wonder if you might reflect on the morale of the troops. There's been a bunch of scrutiny in the past couple of years, and I think that if I were a firefighter or an EMS person, I might feel like that there was too much scrutiny, and that the public and the media was not noting that 98% of what you folks do is heroic and life-saving. I wonder if you might reflect on what needs to be done or is being done to make sure that firefighters realize that they are respected by most of the community, and that at least the press is looking only for those who would be acting outside of what is appropriate.
Well, from what I've been able to unearth through the Executive Review Committee, morale for the majority is pretty good. The majority, not all. Obviously, not everybody's going to be happy with what they do in their day-to-day job. There's times I'm not happy and my morale's down, so that is what it is. When I look forward into the future, I believe with the Executive Review Committee, Mr. Rohr, myself, and the new Fire and Rescue Chief coming forward, the leadership and communication are key. If we don't lead and communicate and at least have the firefighters, the paramedics, the Fire and Rescue Chief explain why are we moving in a fashion, and why are we going forward in this particular fashion. That is the key. People need to understand why we're going in a certain direction, and if we don't explain that to them, yeah, morale is going to be down because they don't understand why we're moving in this certain area. My goal here is to tell you straight. We're open. We're transparent. Any allegation, we're going to review. We're going to address. We're moving forward. At 1,500 fire and rescue employees, they're my family. That's where we are. We have to move forward.
I was going to ask you for, you talk a little bit about Stanley here in your comments right at the top that you believe that her insight will ultimately help our organization. She has received some backlash, and I mean, do you really believe that what she has put out there and your investigation will make this department better?
Well, I don't know of what backlash she has received because she hasn't spoken that to me, but I will say this. When you peel back an onion and you want to try and cook a great meal, you need to know every aspect. A part of that recipe needs to be put forward. If you don't have all the ingredients to making a great place, then yes, I believe that she has put some insight into not only myself and Mr. Rohr, but everybody sitting here today. Battalion Chief Stanley has provided me with insight. She's provided me with opportunities to change the culture if change is necessary. Not all change is necessary, but there are subtle things that we have to do. We have a great team here. There's things that, again, some of the things I've looked at are 10 and 15 years old. 10, 15 years ago, I was in South Carolina. You were still police chief. All right? Today, March 13th, we have to move forward. Any other questions? Thank you.
I was going to ask you specifically about the number. I know that you talked to all the women.
Yes, ma'am.
There's 170?
171.
How many of them reported that they'd seen some problems?
Within the last 5 years or throughout their career? Because I believe within the last 5 years, there's very little. Throughout their career, there could be as many as 10 to 15. So it's how you ask the question, obviously. And I'm not trying to be evasive. Look, being a minority in the United States of America, things happen to me that I don't want to talk about. All right? Maybe going forward, I will at some juncture tell you what my past is and how I got here. I respect every person. I respect every single individual that works for Fairfax County, that lives in the United States of America, that lives on this universe. We are trying to make a change going forward. And if we keep looking at the past, that past shapes our future. The future is shaped. Now, let's take it forward to see how we can move forward with all the cultural issues that we've had of our past.
Justin has the last question.
Justin.
Could you give us a bottom line assessment? I mean, we've been talking about the culture of the fire department for years now. There's been these lawsuits, there's been reviews. Does the department still have a problem with the treatment of women and sexual harassment?
From what I've been able to unearth from the Women's Initiatives Group, the answer is no. They state that they want to be treated as firefighters, not as women firefighters. And I will tell you this, they were very candid, more candid than many of the other groups, to be quite frank. And I have given them my card. They have my cell number. They have obviously my email address. One of them called me on Sunday while I was getting a pizza. I spoke to her for 20 minutes while I was getting a pizza. You know, we're open for business 24 hours a day. They are. I am as well. We're all on the same team. We're all on the same page.